are soaked, but here's the bottom line. We've got football at M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, Maryland. Here's the scene a short time ago. The Ravens introduced to this sellout crowd, and through a sea of pyrotechnics, out they came from the tunnel. We're set to go as the Ravens get ready to match up with the Los Angeles Chargers. Two 1-1 teams here, each looking to move over 500, and we're underway here in Week 3. And we will not see a run back on the opening kickoff. This will be a touchback. And nothing much materializing there on the first down run. He'll get a couple, and that's it. Well, this defense for the Ravens, much improved from Week 1. They were terrific last week in getting their guys their first win of the season.
And no matter what's done throughout a ball game, it always comes back to blocking and tackling. That's the essence of football. But I think it's hard for people to understand just how difficult it is to tackle, especially open field. Very few missed tackles on tape that I saw last game. This team does a nice job of getting their opponents on the ground.
From the 27, Herbert. Oh, he'll want that one back. Incomplete. He doesn't drop too many in that department. Third down.
Well, he'll definitely say that that's one he should have held on to. But when you're playing in elements like this, sometimes those bullet passes, those ones with a little bit of pace on them, they can be difficult to hold on to.
An early tough test on the opening drive. This is 3rd and 8. Back to throw here, Herbert. That's out to the flat for Akers. And he's taken down, but able to slip across the 35.
And they'll use him out of the backfield, and sometimes quite a bit. They're just trying to get him touches any way they can. 4 catches a week ago. There's another one right there.
So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. Play action this time for Justin Herbert. And the Raven pressure too much. Down he goes.
I spent a lot of extra time preparing for this game watching this offensive line because they gave up 5 sacks last week in their loss. They just gave up another one now. They don't seem to be working together as a cohesive unit. Right? 4 guys might have it right, but the 5th guy is giving something up. They've got to find a way to all get on the same page.
And the job becomes twice as difficult now after the sack. It's 2nd and 20 from the shotgun. Here's Herbert. That's into the hands of Akers, complete. And to the 36-yard line, taken down there after getting 8 yards.
I'm not sure that this play was designed for him specifically, but they got through the progressions and got the ball to him. So, 2nd catch on the drive. He may not be a primary guy, but they definitely want him involved, don't they?
Absolutely. This early, the opening drive, as you said, 2 catches. So, if they can get him going in the passing game, it should open up his running game, too. And out of bounds on the other side of midfield at the 45.
And that's how you pick up a 1st down. Not only does he make the catch, but has enough body control to get his feet down inbounds, toe tapping and dragging to make sure he gets it done.
So in Raven territory now, here's a 1st and 10 at the 45-yard line. From the shotgun, here's a give to Akers. And able to break 1 tackle, but then quickly brought down, but a nice little gain. Now, look, that wasn't a huge gain, but those are the types of carries I think they were missing in their loss last week. They couldn't get him going on the ground.
Did you get the same feeling I did during our meetings, that they kind of regretted that he didn't touch the ball?
Absolutely.
You know, hey, he should have touched him more last week. They weren't going to make that same mistake, and they've taken care of that early.
We've seen quite a bit of the short passing game here early on first quarter, haven't we?
We have, and I think it works a couple of ways for this team because, number one, you throw the short game until they stop it. And if they're not going to stop it, you keep throwing it, and occasionally you'll break a tackle and turn it into a bigger gain. Also, if they start to creep up, start to pressure receivers, now you go over the top, take it deep, and now you get some of those big shots downfield.
Herbert off of play action. Flushed out right. And he's going to hook up with his big tight end. Complete. And inside the 20 before he's brought down. Little glimpse of his athleticism there and what they're going to have to deal with. He can use his legs to dance around back behind the line of scrimmage and beyond the line of scrimmage. And wouldn't you love to get a copy of their defensive scouting report going into the week? Because that's been stressed the whole time. Keep him bottled up. Keep him in the pocket. But it's the first drive of the game and emotions are running high. Someone forgot that, trying to make a big play, and gave up a bigger one instead. Ball on the 8, 2nd and 2. On the give, this is Akers. And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. He'll lose a yard on the play, so now they need 3 yards on 3rd down. Now the defense going to use the first of their timeouts. They'll have 2 remaining as we step aside here in this first quarter. How about this opening drive? Play number 12 now. This is 3rd down. Now it's Herbert. Flush to his right. Toward the end zone, but that's going to wind up incomplete.
You absolutely have to have this early on, right? 3rd and short, they let the throw for it. And that's normal NFL football. They're going to throw on 3rd and short, but you've got to hit it, don't you?
Yeah, in the first quarter, like you said, to set the tone, can't connect there. They snap it to Herbert. That's to his running back, complete. Touchdown! Cam Akers, his first touchdown here of the new campaign. And the Chargers take the ball down the field and score on their opening drive. Building confidence after a loss, that's a good way to do it. The loss last game, but first drive here in this one, cashing it in for 6.
Hey, they can talk all they want about putting a loss behind them. I think that drive there did more than any conversation they had, don't you think?
That's exactly right. Puts that to bed, and this is what they said all week long. A lot of things they needed to do differently. But whatever they said appears to have worked. After the touchdown, Bass to kick it away. From a yard or 2 deep, here comes a return. And they'll get him down right at the 25-yard line, so the same result, and he opted for the touchback. Jackson and the Ravens come up now 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. They'll run for the first time with J.K. Dobbins. And nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage. Asante Samuel Jr. that time up to make the tackle. You don't see that a ton, do you? With a cornerback coming over to the middle of the field to make a run tackle.
That's someone with a ton of confidence to feel like nothing is pressuring him on his side of the field. Sees that the ball's moved to the middle and just sprints over there to help out. He ends up getting the tackle. Well played.
So after the run for no gain, here's 2nd and 10. Off the play fake, here's Jackson. That'll be caught. Wallace hauls it in. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield.
And that's a more than acceptable read right there because it's zone coverage, so timing is everything. This time he waits for his man to come open, puts it right on him, and they pick up a first down.
On 1st and 10, it's Dobbins. And he'll lose yardage here. Back at the 47. He'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11.
Sometimes you just sit back and marvel at what he can do defensively. Speed, strength, quickness. He's the whole package. And that package just wrapped up the runner for a loss.
2nd and 11 now. Here's Jackson. Looking left side, and he's got a man. That's Wallace. After 1, 7-0 on EA Sports. Extra defensive back on the field for the Chargers now on 3rd down. Jackson from the shotgun. And he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete.
Coverage was awfully tight there on 3rd down. They actually closed off all the passing lanes, forcing the incompletion and bringing up 4th down.
Now Justin Tucker. He has hit from 61 in his career, so he has the leg for this. They'll spot it at the 47, so call it a 57-yard attempt. And this is good. It was running out of gas there at the end, but he winds up getting just enough on it. And they are on the board, but still trailing. It's 7-3. Tucker now following the made field goal, set to kick it away. This fielded right at the goal line. And he brings us out past the 20 to the 24.
Here we go. Here we go. First and 10 at their own 24-yard line.
The Charger drive about to get going. They had the touchdown on the opening drive of the ball game. It was countered by just a field goal. So, hey, if your guys can do that for 4 quarters, you're in good shape.
Yeah, it is a team game, so that's just good complimentary football. But, you know, I know I'm no brainiac, but you trade 6s for 3s, things are going to work out in your favor. I know many people like to throw to the tight end, maybe in a little flexed out position because he creates mismatches with his size. But slot receivers do the same thing with their quickness, their speed, and their route running savvy.
On 1st down, it's Herbert. Looking for Campbell downfield. And incomplete on the deep ball.
And you just know when that play call came in, their eyes lit up because anytime you get a chance to take a big shot downfield, that's a lot of fun, and they missed an opportunity.
Here's 2nd and 10. On the handoff, running left is Akers. And they bring him to the ground just shy of midfield.
Well, as we've learned over the years, just because a guy plays left tackle doesn't mean he doesn't have run-blocking abilities, and we just saw it there. Controlled the line of scrimmage, created a big gain.
That's kind of a bonus. He's there to protect that high value that you have back under center, but he creates space in the run game.
Yeah, not only can he dance, he can mash, too.
Now a throw to the end zone on 1st down, but it winds up incomplete.
I like what they did there because many of the deep throws we see in the course of a game come to the outside, the perimeter of the field. In this case, they used the slot receiver to run deep downfield and tried to connect that way. Unsuccessful in that attempt, but I like what they were doing.
And he's going to be taken down with the 1st down at the Ravens 35.
So many times in my career, I've heard coaches talk about completions are one thing. But as long as we're there at the catch and we get guys on the ground, we can live with that. But if you're going to give up 10, 12, 15 yards after the catch, then your defense is going to be in a lot of trouble.
7 yards on the pickup there, and it'll leave them with a 2nd and 3.
That's a strong pickup right there on 1st down. And as this drive goes on, we're seeing an offensive line and running game imposing its will.
A good run, got 7 on 1st. Here's 2nd and 3. Play action. It's Herbert. Toward the sideline, and look at that catch. Dragging the toes, and that's going to be a 1st down. Well done. And defensively, they were in zone coverage there. Do you have to be a little careful? You're losing playing against a good quarterback like he is to not play too much zone?
Yeah, you have to be careful about how much time you're giving up. I think it's a good point you just brought up. So maybe if you still want to play zone, you go to a zone blitz scheme. And you can drop anyone out of your defensive front. Defensive end, defensive tackle. It doesn't matter. You just exchange someone to bring more pressure towards the quarterback and still try and cover downfield.
Here's a run with Akers on second down. And once again, they stop him behind the line. Great job by this Ravens defense. He'll lose a yard on the play, so now they need 3 yards on third down. He finds his receiver, Williams, for a Charger touchdown. Mike Williams, his second touchdown on the season. The Chargers, they're able to widen their lead. The point after through the raindrops, up and good. And that pushes the lead up to 11. After the touchdown, Bass to kick it away. And no return on this one as the fair catch is signaled for and taken.
The Ravens take over first and 10 at their own 25-yard line.
The Baltimore offense at the line, set to get going. And this not an easy situation. You're down early, in the elements, you're on the road. How do you get the mojo back?
Well, one thing is to remember that as an offensive player, you have a much better idea of what you're trying to accomplish and where you're trying to go than the defender. So in this case, because you know it, you can make your cuts with a little more decisiveness, maybe a second fake, some double moves, things of that nature, to go ahead and try and put some pressure on the defense.
A reminder, once we hit halftime, as we do all season, we'll send it down to Jonathan Coachman in Orlando. He'll have all the stats and scores from games in progress around the NFL.
The best multitasker in the business, the coach.
And he'll be out of bounds across the 30-yard line. Give him 7 there on the tuck and run, and they're in better shape now for third. Off the play fake to Dobbins. Here's Jackson. And this is caught. It's Brown. And they'll get this well past midfield before being stopped just before the 35. A big play that time through the air. 32 yards.
And that might be exactly what they needed to wake up this home crowd. They haven't given them much to cheer for so far. And never underestimate the effect the home crowd with you can have on a game.
Meanwhile, Jackson's throw complete here to his receiver, Brown. And down to the 20 he'll go before heading out of bounds.
And this has been a nice answer to the touchdown drive against them a few minutes ago because they've come out and reestablished the tempo. A nice throw there, and they're putting together a very strong drive as a response.
And it's incomplete. Boy, he doesn't drop many like that one. Second down.
Right up to that point, I was about to say he's had a pretty good half catching the football, but let's just be honest about it. He should have caught that one.
And he knows that. That was one right in his breadbasket and one he normally catches. Again, Jackson. They set up the screen for Dobbins. And he'll get it down this time to the 17. 4 yards the gain, and it'll bring up a third down.
Boy, that was certainly well-read defensively. And the key to any screenplay is space to work. And there was none to be found there. And they tackle it for just a short gain.
On third down, Jackson. Eluding the pressure right. It's complete to Brown, right side. And he'll be out of bounds, taking it just shy of the 10 at the 11 or the 12. And that's good for a gain of 6. And that's going to make it fourth down. And Jackson throwing once more. Buying time to his left. They'll take it into the end zone for a Ravens touchdown. Lamar Jackson, as the first half is winding down. And the Ravens are able to cut into this lead in the final seconds of the first half. Tucker with the extra point. And the lead is down to 4. So not much time to speak of remaining in this first half as the kick's away. And that one will bounce out of the back of the end zone, so we will start here at the 25. The Charger drive about to get going. And we'll see what they opt to do with just 14 seconds remaining until intermission. He'll get that complete to Albert O. And he's going to be out up around the 45-yard line.
But normally you see 3 tight ends in a formation. You have to think to yourself, this has got to be a run. And I know as a safety, when I saw that, I took an extra step or 2 towards the line of scrimmage. Instead, they threw the ball, and he found one of those tight ends for a very nice pickup.
That's complete, Okuegbunam. And he'll be out just a yard or 2 shy of the 30. A big completion there, and he gets out of bounds to stop the clock.
Very heady football. That allows them the opportunity to go ahead and line up and kick one right before the half ends.
So with 2 ticks left here in the half, on is the field goal unit. It'll be a 49-yard attempt from the left hash. The kick by Bass is good. And that will do it for this first half. So we have reached halftime intermission with the visiting Chargers on top. As we'll send you down to Orlando, and we check in with Jonathan Coachman for our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach. Okay, Coach. Yeah, adjustments likely going to play a big role in this third quarter in what's been a tight contest so far. Forecast calling for more of the same. The rain set to continue as we are underway in the second half. And here comes a return from just beyond the goal line. And ultimately cannot get this out to the 25-yard line as he's dropped at the 23. The Raven offense set at the line for this next drive. And they're still very much in this game, although they do trail. What's the game plan, Charles, for the second half?
It might be a little counterintuitive.
All right, rifles one, and that's going to be intercepted. Picked off by Asante Samuel Jr. And his guys are going to take over at the 31-yard line. That one is going to sting. First play of the third quarter and a turnover.
And you have to know that at halftime, they spent a lot of time going through their checklist of what they wanted to accomplish to start this third quarter. Turning it over like this was not on that list.
Not at all. And you come out of the locker room trailing, so that first drive to establish momentum is very key.
Crucial.
The last run got a couple. Here's 2nd and 8. Out of the gun, Herbert. And he's got his big tight end here. And inside the 20 before he's brought down.
And there's a completion to the tight end. And look at the size of these players nowadays. At that spot, 6'4", 6'5", and up. A lot of guys used to be basketball players, somehow came back to football. That's really good for the game of football. You're getting better athleticism, great hand-eye coordination, guys who know how to control their bodies when they run their routes.
On second down, Akers. And he's going to be taken down here with a penalty flag on the field. So a decent gain, but all for naught on the penalty.
It's too bad, isn't it? They were feeling pretty good about it. The only people celebrating, the guys who just gave up that play.
Herbert now Quick hitter here. It's complete. And the Chargers are going to be looking at a 1st and goal as he's out of bounds at the 3-yard line.
And remember, this drive started off following the turnover, and they've taken no time working their way down the short field. A nice connection there, and now they're looking at a 1st and goal.
Akers. And he takes it in for a Charger touchdown. Cam Akers with 2 touchdowns on the season, both in this game. And the Chargers find a way to stretch their lead. Extra point by Bass, up and good. And the lead now up to 14.
Chargers 24, Ravens 10. Tyler Bass set to kick off.
After the touchdown, Bass to kick it away. This taken in at the goal line. Oh, a dangerous return man showing it here. And a pretty slick return there. Almost got it to the 45. Officially, they'll call him down at the 44.
It's the 3rd quarter, and they're down on the scoreboard. And while no one wants to hit the panic button just yet, points are a necessity on this drive. What a great way to get set up.
The Baltimore offense at the line, set to get going. And last time, 1-play interception. So this offense, they should be fresh.
That's a good way of putting it. And I can't wait to see what they decide to do with play calling. Because a 1-play drive where you throw an interception, a lot of people think the very next time out, run the football, don't give them a chance.
Maybe play action.
I think maybe you go play action, show your quarterback, get a little confidence in him, and let him fling another one.
Officially, it's a 1-yard loss. That's going to bring up 2nd and 11.
I think it's pretty evident. We can say what a difference a week makes. Last week, he ran pretty much wild, didn't he? Did pretty much what he wanted to do. But this one, they've stopped him cold. That, to me, that's good scouting and even better execution.
Yeah, and they stopped him behind the line right there. They obviously watched the tape a few times and made some adjustments. 8 yards on the completion, but now they face 3rd down.
Brandon, perfect defense in this situation would have meant that there was an incompletion. They would have picked it off. Okay, so they gave up the completion. But I really enjoyed watching how the defense stayed in sync, stayed in great communication, and as he dragged across each zone, you see him pointing, communicating. There he is, and they passed him off to each defender. Ended up making a nice play, even though it was complete.
And he's going to be taken down. Pressure gets there back at the 39-yard line. It'll go in the books as a sack and a loss of a yard, but more importantly, it leads to 4th down. And his kick is good. He got every bit of that one as it's good from 56 yards out. So the response to that touchdown on the other side to begin the 3rd quarter. Look, just 3 points, but still a response nonetheless.
You're exactly right about that, because I think you needed to answer back with something, even though it's not 6. Just enough to send the message that says, hey, we're not going away.
The Charger drive about to get going. And for them, a touchdown their last go-around. Obviously, they'll be hoping to do that again.
And when you start plotting for this drive, when you start thinking to yourself, okay, what are we going to do? You don't go away from what you did before because that worked, but you have to be prepared for wrinkles and counters because you know they'll make some adjustments.
Under a minute to go in this 3rd quarter as they come up 1st and 10. Herbert. And he goes down. The Ravens able to get to him. Justin Madubuike. It'll go as a loss of about 8 as he gets in there to drop him. So that complicates things a bit here. 18 yards to go now on 2nd down. Another try after the 1st down sack. Herbert looking for Campbell downfield. And, he's unable to hold on to that defensively. A potential game changer, but it falls incomplete. And Charles, got to like what this defense has been able to do these last couple of plays.
Yeah, they get the sack on 1st down, then they force the incomplete pass. Now they're just a play away from getting the football right back, but it's a big play. They've got to hold up.
And that's going to be incomplete. The contact there enough to jar that ball free, and it brings up 4th down. Here's Jamie Gillen now. And the way this offense has moved the ball, he hasn't been needed till here in the 3rd. It's taken to the 26. They call that a punt of 38 yards officially. And the Ravens, they'll take over. Raven offense set at the line for this next drive. And fortunate to get points on the board last time. They had to hit a really long field goal to do so.
The kickers in today's game are so good and so skilled and hit from distances that we almost start to take them for granted. And we can't do that. That's a long field goal that they got 3 points out of. They've got to feel good about that, and they better make sure they love him up because he's helped them out.
Yeah, now we'll see if that offense can put 6 on the board here. We'll see. On 2nd and 11 now. Jackson. That ball caught. It's Mark Andrews, the tight end. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line.
All right, this is the time of the game where they're down a couple of scores, and they've really got to get some yards in chunks, and they know the defense doesn't want to give those up, but they've got to find a way to take them anyway.
Now the question is, can they string a few of those together? And he will find his man on the outside. And he's able to take it across midfield before going out of bounds. They'll run on first down. Dobbins. And he's going to get this one down near the 45-yard line. 3 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be 2nd down.
Give credit to the defense for stringing that play out, and they gave up no cutback angle. You know he was trying to dart through. No place for him to go. A nice job there, only giving up a 3-yard gain.
He's going deep for Brown, and he fires one that's intercepted. Picked up by Caden Stearns. And the Chargers force the turnover. They'll take over at the 10. And that pretty much has been the storyline, Charles. This defense, they seem to be one step ahead from the start of the game until now.
And you identified it perfectly, and we can see the frustration that's settling in now. And it's probably been there for a long time, but now it's evident because you can see it in their faces, you can see it in their body language, maybe even a little bit in that play call that ended up maybe closing them out.
A play fake, and now Herbert to throw. Escaping the pressure right. And out of bounds across the 15-yard line. He turned that into a nice gain. Gets him 8 yards closer for 3rd down.
I like his thought process and his ability to move and get downfield. But what I didn't like was the final decision, to go out of bounds. They want to keep the clock moving. Instead, they give the defense an extra timeout.
And intercepted. Maybe the turning point they need. Picked off by Deshaun Elliott. And his guys will take over at the 30-yard line. And now with that interception, you feel like we got a ball game again. Remember, a 2-score contest and still time left here in the 4th.
And in the old days, not too long gone either, throwing the ball here would have been an absolute no-no. But the way the game's played now, throwing it makes sense. You just have to be careful when you put it in the air.
They go back to the air here after the INT on the last drive. And this is going to be hauled in by the tight end Andrews. And they move this all the way down to the 9.
Well, every drive from here out is definitely crucial and critical. They know that they need to get at least 3 here to get it back to a 1-score game. But I can't imagine that in their huddle that they're thinking at all about getting a field goal. They want to get into the end zone and then try and get the ball back again.
And a dangerous throw there on the drop-off. Incomplete, nearly intercepted.
Certainly appeared to take away his first read, and by the time he tried to look elsewhere and find an open target, the coverage was too good. That one falls incomplete.
Another shot from the 9 on 2nd and goal. Jackson on the give to Dobbins. Only about a yard there as he takes it from the 9 to the 8.
Partner, I know we're in a goal-to-go situation, but my goodness, think about running the ball here. Not even a thought, is it?
Defensively, they're in a prime spot.
And I think the defensive guys are probably expressing themselves to them as well. I wouldn't run it here, guys. You might want to try throwing it.
Now, they'd really like to make the short field pay off. We'll see if they can, but this is 3rd and goal. They go play action now. Jackson rolling to his left. And inside the 5 here before he's out of bounds right at the 3. 5 yards that time out of the scramble. But now they're looking at a 4th down situation. So Jackson will head to the Ravens sideline, and on comes Justin Tucker for the field goal try. From the left hash, a chip shot here. All right, so they needed 2 scores to get back in the game. The field goal there, maybe not exactly what they wanted, but the necessary first step.
There's still time remaining, and there's enough time to get it done. They've got to get it the least a 3 and out here to get the ball back, preferably a takeaway.
Taken at the goal line. And he'll be tackled just shy of the 25.
The Chargers take over 1st and 10 at their own 24-yard line.
The Charger drive about to get going. Their lead back down to 1 score after the field goal a moment ago, so they'll be looking to string together a few first downs, likely on the ground as they begin 1st and 10. 42 yards on the ground for him now on 9 carries. I guess he was saving his best for last, so to speak. Longest run of the day coming here in the 4th quarter right there.
And that type of run makes for a better night for him and his teammates, doesn't it? To be able to produce this late in the game can lead to some big smiles and satisfaction in the locker room after this one's over.
Meanwhile, Herbert's throw going into the hands of Williams. And he gets this one to midfield before he's brought down. 4th quarter, down to the final 2 minutes, and we've got a 1-score game. They'll run on 1st down with Akers. And I think this defense knew what was coming as he is smothered behind the line. So fresh out of the 2-minute warning, and here's another timeout taken with 1:55 remaining. So after the loss of a yard, they'll look to push forward here on 2nd down and 11. They're going to pass here with Herbert. Looking sideline, incomplete.
From the snap, he certainly looked like he knew where he wanted to go with the ball, but surprise, that guy was covered. So that took his attention elsewhere to no avail.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down. Now it's Herbert. And look at this. They get the turnover they needed. It's intercepted. Picked off by Odafe Oweh. And the Ravens are right back in this football game. A critical error there in a tight game in the 4th.
All you talk about is taking care of the football, and especially with a lead here in the 4th quarter. Turning it over, now the door is open for the opposition.
And he can't get a throw away. He's taken down. It'll be a loss of 7 on the sack, and it brings up 2nd. Jackson. And this throw incomplete. Now the defender all over him that time, and it's going to lead to 3rd down. Back-to-back big plays defensively. First the sack. Now they force the incompletion on 3rd and long. Things looking pretty good for them.
And this is where they have to be careful because they've got the momentum going their way. They will be really amped up to get to the quarterback. Look out. Draw, screen, something that can be used against them.
And he's taken down all the way inside the LA 10. It's a big play there for Baltimore. 1st and goal, a touchdown and a 2-point conversion here are musts. Now here's a look for the end zone, but that one's going to wind up incomplete.
Well, this defense has been physical all game long, and it certainly looks like they're not going to back off and make things any easier. They want to keep making life miserable for the receivers all the way to the end.
Here's Jackson. Forced out to his left. And he gets in just in the nick of time, so they get the touchdown they need. Now they need a 2-point conversion to tie it.
The touchdown's massive, but now they've got to have 2 to possibly take this to overtime.
The late touchdown was only half the battle. Now they need the 2-point conversion to tie the ball game. Now Jackson. Dancing to his left. That's caught. And he is not going to reach the goal line. They were forced to go for it down 2, but the defense rises to the occasion, and they hold on to their lead. And this is going to be taken in by the Chargers, and it appears they're going to win this football game. Fourth quarter, they felt like they needed the football back. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it.
And I know we brought analytics into the game, and someone has said here that the data says that when a team's expecting an onside kick, 80% of the time, the team expecting it, they do actually recover the ball, which is what we saw here. I just wonder if that number is much more of a anecdotal type of a number. Kind of like when the coaches tell us, well, when you score on special teams, 93% of the time you win the game. I'm still waiting to see that number is empirical.
So this one's over. It's in the win column for the L.A. Chargers. And we talked so much about the turnover battle determining who wins and who loses. This game, no exception. They didn't turn the ball over at all, and they go